on TV, online and on your smartphone. This is Ticker News.
This episode of Talk Your Book is proudly brought to you by Honan, providing a complete range of insurance, risk and financial solutions.
Fundies called me up, told me to take a look, but stay stubborn as bulls and talk their own book. Get the money, get the money, get the money.
Hi, I'm Chris Judd and this is Talk Your Book, and today we're very lucky to be joined by Andrew Chapman from Merchant Funds Management. Chappie, thanks very much for coming back on the show.
Pleasure, Chris. Nice to be here again.
Now, before we get into your stock pick, maybe give us a bit of an overview of Merchant Funds Management. I know you've got some multiple funds set up, but how does the whole operation look?
Good question. We've got two funds at the moment. We've got a Merchant Opportunities Fund that we've been running now for about 11 years. That's a closed fund. That one's a little bit sector agnostic, and we look at micro cap and small cap stocks in that one, and that's had a pretty good track record with average returns pretty solid over the years. And then more recently, in the last 12 to 18 months, actually 18 months ago to be precise, we launched the Merchant Biotech Fund. Unfortunately, we got timing just absolutely as wrong as we possibly could, and had a tough sort of first 6 months, and then after that, regained sort of composure and got our strategy in order and had a really good last 12 months. That fund is open to new investors, and we're growing that as we speak.
And this stock sounds like it sits in the biotech fund. Maybe talk us through what stock you want to discuss today.
Yes, the stock that I'm talking about today is Inoviq, which is IIQ is the code, and it's been one of our sort of feature winners in the biotech fund in the last 12 months, and probably one that I see a lot of upside in for certainly the next 12 to 24 months, as well as it commercialises and starts to come to market.
And give us the helicopter view for IIQ and what they do.
Yeah, it's actually a diagnostic company, Chris, in the simplest form. IIQ was a roll-up of two companies that I was involved in, about, I'm trying to go back now, it's probably about 2015, 2016, I think IIQ ended up forming, and it was formed out a result of the roll-up of a company called Sienna Diagnostics and Bard One. And both of those companies are in the diagnostic space. And I was at the time, via the Merchant Opportunities Fund, we were involved in 4 diagnostics actually, because the reason being, when I started to have a bit of a look at it, it just became an obvious candidate for roll-ups, because it's quite a, once you've got your test approved, and once you've got your test proved and the efficacy proved and whatnot, then it just becomes a bit of a business strategy, and you've got to look at, if a salesman is going into Gribble's Healthcare, for instance, and selling one test, then that person can sell 5 or 10, and so then it became just a bit of an obvious roll-up candidate, and we actually tried to assist the companies rolling up, and we tried. We had strategic stakes in 4 of them. Sienna, Bard, Rhythm, and another one called BCAL, which at the time was private. We weren't successful ultimately in rolling up Rhythm and BCAL into the mix, but we were, assisted the companies in rolling together Bard One and Sienna. So IIQ is actually a result of those two companies joining forces.
And in terms of the science, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old, how the science behind the diagnostic tests works.
Yeah, it's basically just trying to find a blood test that allows, the early detection of the onset of cancer. So it's not a cure for cancer as such, but it's these diagnostic companies are all about early identification and early detection of cancer, and so that then allows hopefully the patient to then receive the appropriate care and in a timely manner, which is probably one of the most important things in terms of, prolonging the patient's life, is early detection of cancer. So That's essentially what the diagnostic companies that are listed on the ASX are trying to achieve. Now, they all specify or specialise in various tests. So, Rhythm, for instance, does colorectal cancer. IIQ does multiple. It has multiple different tests in the mix. There's other companies that are out there now that are coming to market, and they're generally just more singularly focused, whereas IIQ is just got a diversified portfolio of assets that you're trying to achieve at the end of the day good results for a patient.
And they had great test results recently on their sub B2M trial that we'll get to in a minute. But is there a crossover between the different cancers that they're screening for in terms of the science? Are they using it once and applying it over multiple cancers?
Yeah, look, there is a bit of a crossover there. So you can, the beauty of this diagnostic testing type companies is that they generally have a platform approach. So, and IIQ is no different, where it's got a platform approach, which, you can utilise the platform technology across various cancers. So you can look to, there's obviously changes and idiosyncrasies amongst, the exosomes and so forth, and getting the desired results. But over a period of time, you can utilise these tests to not only test for, it could be lung cancer, it could be breast cancer, it could be ovarian cancer. There's multiple different tests, and there's multiple different ways that you can, reach commercial results. Look, there is some overlap there, Chris, for sure.
And talk us through the recent sub B2M trial results and how it stacked up against some of the products that are already being used in market.
Well, look, that was actually great results. Your listeners might, if you sort of look through the history of IIQ, back in, I think it was 2017 or 18, I can't actually remember. It's been that long now that we've been in the stock, but the stock actually ran from about 50 cents to about $5 on huge volume, and that was based on the sub B2M results that came out at that time. Now, fast forward, the stock came back to earth and settled back around the sort of 50 or 60 cents over that, and I think it was 2021 actually. I think it was more recent than that. And the stock came back to earth, as the results got digested from the market. I think the market ran with some efficacy data that probably showed it was, very effective, but I don't know if it was necessarily articulated very well, and the market, took the news and just ran with it. And it was also at the time where, liquidity was gigantic in small cap biotechs, and so and over a period now the stock came back to earth. But what has happened is over the last couple of years the development in that test has been exceptional, and the results that came out just recently are actually a lot better than what they were, back in 2021 when the stock ran. So that was, you're starting to see now that those particular results now look like, it allows the company to get closer and closer to a market outcome. So you're seeing accuracy at, I think it was high 80%, sensitivity at 80 odd %, and then specificity, however you say it, at 93 odd %, So you're seeing really good results coming out, and like I said, it was the results now to these days are better than what sent the stock to $5.
And they've got multiple shots at goal. How are you sort of looking at a company like this try and get funding for that and prioritise things versus some of the other projects they're trying to do?
Yeah, look, it's always a bit of a, for me, I like the fact that the company like this has got multiple shots on goal. Because I think, for me as an investor, it just de-risks the actual investment somewhat. And I think, you're seeing that now in some of the other potential, the other companies in the diagnostic space that have got, say, only one real focus, and it becomes a binary trade, right? You could be 50% wrong or 50% right straight away. And so for me as an investor and looking after other people's money, I prefer to have a little bit of backup there and not have a binary type of outcome. And obviously these sort of things, you've got to go where the money is, and the reality of the situation.
I'll just cut you off for a second, Chappie, and be rude, but we'll be back with more Talkie Book right after this short break.